three very common prepositions. They look so simple, right? To, for, from. So easy. So easy. But you know what? They can actually be pretty tough, especially because they can be used in so many different ways. That's what often makes prepositions so hard, because there might be a simple way to use it, and you say to yourself, oh yeah, I know how to use to, right? I like to play video games. I like to play video games. To plus play. So easy. You put to in front of a verb, right? Well, yes. But there are lots of examples in which to is used in other ways. And so we have to try to get our minds around these simple prepositions and all of the different ways we can use them by looking at examples. I really believe that examples are the best way to learn anything, because I can talk about the theory of English or why this preposition means that. But you won't really get it until we look at some real examples. So that's what we'll do. Okay, we're going to be learning these by example. So let's start with to. We'll go through the examples. I'll explain a little bit, and then hopefully if you have questions, you can leave them in the comments, and then we can get to those. Okay, so we're going to look at some examples. Here we go. We're going to start with to. The first one, we drove to California. Now this one I think most of you will know. When we use to in this way, we're just talking about direction. Okay, direction. One thing is taking an action in the direction of another thing. And this thing, in this case, is we. We, several people, one or more. Well, no, more than one. If it's I, it would be one. If it's she, it would be one. But if it's we, maybe it's 3, 4, 5, 6. We're all in a car. Okay, we're going to California. To California. So the direction comes from the to. To tells us what direction things are going in. Okay, but it's not only for driving or walking, because if we look at our last example here, she talked to me about it. This is the direction of the talking. She talked to me. We're looking at the last example here. Now, why would we not say she talked with me about it? What's the difference between talked to me and talked with me? Well, just like we drove to California, if she's talking to me, it's kind of going that way. It's going in that direction. And if she talks with me about it, it might be that it's more of a back and forth conversation. Now, to could also be, I guess, a back and forth conversation, but the focus is a little different, okay? So we use to when we're talking about the direction of an action, often. It's not the only way to use it, of course, and it's not the only preposition that can tell us about the direction of the action, but it is a really, really common one. Okay. Now, how about this one? I subscribe to many YouTubers. Now, is this direction? I subscribe to many. Well, not exactly. Not exactly. We might, for example, link to a website, subscribe to them. So this is more about the connection. To is being used as a connector, because we're not really going from anywhere to anywhere. So it's not really direction, is it? So to is connecting. So we often say, for example, subscribe to, or register to, or maybe connect to, or link to. It's going to connect things together, okay? If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, you can subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to. You can say, I'm subscribed to Luke's channel. I'm subscribed to Cloud English, okay? So that's how we use to as well. It's a very common way to use it. Maybe not as common as the others, but still very, very common. And there are lots of others that are similar to this. We don't have time to get into all of them, of course. Okay, now, look at number 3. To lose weight, don't eat so much. To lose weight, don't eat so much. All right, well, what about this one? To lose weight. Am I going anywhere? Is this a direction? Not really. Not really, no. Okay, well, is it connecting something like subscribe to? Not really, no. No, this to is to state the goal or purpose. Now, this doesn't mean that it happens. It doesn't mean that it's real. But if you want to do this, if this is the thing that you want, if this is your desire, if this is your intention in your mind, we can begin a sentence with to. To lose weight, don't eat so much, right? To get a good job, maybe learn new skills, whatever it is. When we start this way, we're saying the intention. So here we're starting with intention using to make sure people know, hey, I'm going to say what the intention is. Then I'm going to say how to get there if that's what you want. Okay, so that's also a really common way to use to. Okay, we have to go in 10 minutes. Now, this is probably the most common. This is the basic grammatical way to use it. So for this one, don't really think about the meaning of to here. Don't focus on the meaning of what to is. What is to's from? To means direction or something. No. We have to go, right? I want to see it. I love to eat tiramisu. So to eat, to go, to do, to play, to smile, all of that has nothing to do with the meaning of to. It's all about the grammar. It's a form of grammar, and it's called an infinitive. That's what it's called, an infinitive. Now, we could say the same thing. For example, if I say, I like to fish. I like to fish, or I like to go fishing. Or we could just say, I like fishing. Now, fishing, I like fishing, is the gerund form, ing verb. Sometimes the same meaning is the to form, which we call the infinitive. To go, to eat, to play, to smile, to run, to dance. And of course, there are 10 billion ways to use that. How many verbs can you come up with? Okay, so this one is the basic grammatical use of the word to. All right, so that's to. Hopefully that's clear. There are more ways to use it. There are lots more examples we could talk about. We don't have all the time in the world. But anyway, if you have questions about this, make sure you leave those questions in the comments. We're going to look at two more. And before I mention these other two, make sure if you haven't hit the like button already that you hit the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're interested in learning English more deeply, pronunciation, all of that stuff, check out my courses in the links in the description. And there's a bug flying around my face. Anyway, next one, from. Now, again, you probably know the basic ways to use from. From. I'm from Thailand. Okay, so the origin of you is Thailand. Does that mean that you were there just now and you came from there yesterday? Well, if we wanted to say that, we'd have to add more, right? I just flew from Thailand. We have an action, a verb, flew from. If I say I'm from, that means my body is from. That's where I was born. So if we just say I'm from, that's where my original location was in my life. We say I just flew from there. That doesn't mean I was born there. Maybe I was traveling there. So we add other verbs. Basically, the from there is about the origin, right? The place where it began. The source, we could say. Okay, so that's how we use basically from. The basic meaning of from is the origin or the source. And that basic idea carries through most of the examples we're going to look at, although it's used in many different ways. I see where you're coming from. Now, what does this mean? If someone says, I see where you're coming from, basically it means I know what you mean. I understand your basic meaning. Now, can that be from? The same meaning of from, like the origin of something? Well, kind of. If someone says, I see where you're coming from, that means I know what your basic idea is starting at. I know the original location in your mind, and I understand it. Okay, maybe I don't agree with you totally, but we say this when we want to say we understand where someone's heart is. We understand their basic reason for saying that, right? I see where you're coming from, but I don't quite agree. So this is not a physical location, right? Not physical, this from. Not from Thailand, but it's sort of a place in your mind where this idea begins. Okay, that's how we use that one. She suffers from severe headaches. So look at this one, this suffer from. Okay, suffers from, released from. So we often have a verb followed by from. And in this case, it's severe headaches. What the severe headaches are doing, basically, right? The cause of my suffering is headaches. We want to connect it, we use from. if we say I was released from maybe the military. I was in the military and I was released from the military. Okay, so that's where I was before, and this is where I am now. So suffer from is basically talking about cause, talking about still kind of the origin, but it's connecting it to the verb. So the verb is the most important thing here, and then we use from after the verb. From comes after the verb, okay? So that's how we use that one. I work from 8 to 5 today. I work from 8 to 5 today. So I haven't gone to work yet. I'm going to go to work. The beginning time is 8. Then I end at 5. Okay, that's the beginning time. So this one's pretty simple. We're just talking about dates or time, years. This could be from 1998 to 2005, or from 8 to 5, or whatever it is. We're beginning somewhere and we're ending somewhere. And the from is the beginning and the end is the to. Okay, from your eyes, I'd say you haven't slept. From your eyes, I'd say you haven't slept. How about this one? Well, is this one any way related to based on or origin or something? Well, yeah. Yeah, I look at you and I see that you have red eyes and panda eyes, and I can see that you haven't slept based on that. So the origin of my idea that you haven't slept is that, your eyes. It's the reason I think that. So it comes from, sort of like, I'm from Thailand. Well, my idea is from your eyes. So we start the sentence with from. From that, I can guess this. So we often say from, and then the thing that causes us to think whatever we think, and then we say what we think. From the numbers, I think we should probably stop doing this. Maybe we're talking about our numbers in our company. Maybe our sales numbers are going down. We see that they're going down. Well, from this, we can say clearly that whatever we're doing is not working. Let's change, okay? So the same basic idea in most of these, just used in many different ways. So that's how we use from. Now let's look at some examples for. All right, here we go. So the first one is to talk about duration. I haven't slept for 3 days. I slept for 16 hours. I want to sleep for a week. I'm so exhausted. So when we want to say the duration, how long something happened, duration, we often use for. I worked there for 7 years. I worked there for 7 years. Okay, so simply, the duration is 7 years. So that's pretty simple. When we want to talk about how long something happened, then we use for. Pretty simple. This wine is for the party. This wine is for the party. Okay. Now, how about that one? If we say this wine is for the party, the purpose of the wine is the party. It's not for me to drink by myself at home. It's not for you to drink, person who lives in my house. No, we're going to bring this wine for the party. This is the wine that is going to go there, even though it's not there yet. So when we talk about things with for, we're talking about the reason it exists. The reason it exists. We're not talking about the thing that it's doing now, okay? This gift is for you. Maybe I'll give it to you in 1 year. We're not talking about time here. We're talking about the purpose of it. Why is it here? This may be the cure for cancer. This may be the cure for cancer. Okay, now, again, this cure is related to cancer. The purpose of the cure is cancer, is to treat cancer, to deal with cancer. And so we say for to talk about its purpose, the intention we have in using this cure. Okay, basically that's it. She's got a knack for English, a real skill for something, okay? So we often use this sort of thing, skill for, knack for, interest in is sort of like the same thing, whatever it is then. We talk about for here. It's not really purpose, but it's a similar idea. It's really just to link together our knack or our skill. Knack and skill mean the same thing. So if we say a skill for that, if we say a knack for that, it's basically the same thing. Okay, last one. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? So I have something in my mind that I want to find. I have something in my mind that I want to see. What is it? What are you looking for? What is your intention? What is your purpose? So again, for, same idea as the purpose, the intention that we have in our minds. Even though I don't see it, I don't know where it is. I'm looking for my phone. Oh, it's over there. Oh, there it is. Okay, I found it. I was looking for it. In my mind, my purpose was to find my phone. Okay, so those are the ways that we use to, for, and from. There are more ways to use them, of course, lots more ways to use them, but we have to dig into the examples to get a feeling for these so that we can start to use them in our daily lives. Okay, so if you have any questions about this, again, comment, leave a comment, and again, don't forget to give a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't checked out my courses yet, as I've always said, please do that. Check out my courses in the links in the description.